What's up, folks? Total War is here. Today we're coming in on the Siege of Alexandria, and I've never seen this one. Quick shout out to Kev for sending this one in. Thank you very much. We're going to enjoy this one. It's Seleucid and Rome going on the attack. I see Sparta and Egypt on the defense. Yeah, so this city map, I like Alexandria. It's a little hard to defend. It's fun to play. It's a little hard to defend. But one thing, let's see, the VP's here, correct? Yeah, the VP's right here. I've always kind of wished I could just defend this island. I mean, it's a little OP just defending this little bridge here. And then I guess you have to defend this crosswalk and stuff. But still, I've always wanted to try it, but you can't because of the VP being in the wrong spot. That's a little unfortunate. But we've got Rome advancing with some Praetorian Guard coming first. This is interesting. You don't normally see the Praetorian Guard coming straight at the front lines of the battle. But this guy's opting for bringing these guys up in the siege towers, the front line assault. Then we're going to have some Hastati. This guy's got level 3 chevron. This one's got level 4 chevron, and this one's got a, level 7 chevron. These guys are ridiculous. Why spend so much money on that? That's a little strange. Evocati there. 2 Evocati, 3 Evocati, 4 Evocati, and 5 Evocati cohorts. Then we've got the Legatus, or Legatus. What is the correct pronunciation on that? Legatus? Legatus. We're going with Legatus. That sounds better. Auxiliary Syrians. 3 of those, 3 of those and a Balearic Slinger. And then right in here we have the Praetorian Cavalry taking fire. This Evocati cohort is taking a lot of fire. These guys have lost 20 men almost, 14. And there's cavalry over here that fell too. I think that was that Praetorian cavalry. They've lost 2. Has the general? Oh, the general's lost a few men too. Wow. So for Seleucid, we have thorax swords here. That's got a Greek giant ballista up front. Taking the walls here, we've got more thorax. 2 more thorax. 3 more thorax. We got another Roman Evocati cohort there on the tortoise. Another Evocati cohort. Then we've got the thorax, and thorax. Those guys got level 1 chevron. At least 2 of those have that. I didn't notice that on any of the other ones, though. Yeah, I only see 2 of those with that level 1. And then this guy is a thorax with a level 1 chevron, and then clear up against the red line to stay out of artillery range. We've got the shield bearers. Flanked by some thorax pikemen. Those guys will be good if you get a choke point. Not an offensive weapon, but good at covering your flanks in the advance. So we'll see how those guys come into play. And then we've got some 3 Royal Peltas here, the elite of the Seleucidian army, and then 4 Syrian heavy archers. I see at least one of those with a level 1 chevron. Yeah, just one of those got the chevron. Alright, so let's see as Rome continues to take the wall, or begins to take the wall, we can begin to see the defensive armies. We've got some Procoli hoplites here for Sparta beginning the defense. Good choice to use Sparta as the first line. They're going to do the best, but you're probably going to move Egypt up. I don't see any Egyptians right behind here. I would move some Egyptians up just to get the javelin fire and counteract the ability of the Seleucidian and Roman units to open fire and just destroy these guys with javelins. The Procoli hoplites don't have javelins. It's the Procoli spears that have javelins, yeah. So the Procoli hoplites are going to be pretty helpless to that. So let's see, we've got another Procoli hoplite there, backed by another Procoli hoplite. I saw one unit here. I didn't get to it in time, though. We do have a Cretan archer now opening fire on the thorax on the wall. This is a good choice because it is actually on the non-shield side. So these guys, and actually to the back now as they fight the ballista. So these guys are going to go down in droves once that armor wears down. Meanwhile, the Praetorian Guard, I'm really surprised these guys aren't encountering any resistance. They should really be the first ones you should be targeting with that ammunition. Just to get them out of the game as early as possible. You cannot have that as a threat. And you can see some thorax potentially moving up, maybe get some javelin volleys off while the Praetorian Guard are up there. Meanwhile, I'm surprised they sent the siege towers in first. Normally you send in those tortoises. But so far it seems to be paying off because they haven't encountered any resistance for the walls. You can see one tortoise was used here. And something's taken out that Evocati cohort. It has already lost quite a few men. And it's got one morale down already. I saw some artillery fire go in there, actually. It's coming from this ballista, I believe. That's a really good idea. I didn't count these guys. There's two more, an Evocati and a Praetorian Guard then back here behind this temple complex. I think I forgot to mention them earlier. Let's see. Okay, so here we go. We've got the thorax swords opening some javelin fire on this Praetorian Guard. Good target. I like the choice here by the defenders. But that Praetorian Guard on that high ground and returning javelin fire is going to be quite the challenge to take out. Whoa, my whole camera just shook. The whole screen was shaking, almost. The Evocati cohort there is taking down the wall, and hopefully he's going to flank those thorax and force them out so those Praetorian Guard can get out unscathed. Meanwhile, we've got the thorax coming down and engaging the thorax. Some sort of civil war going on here. So we'll have to start marking Egyptian versus Seleucidian thorax. And javelin fire raining in from the Seleucidian thorax as well as the Egyptian thorax. So both sides getting heavily involved there. Then we got some Cretan archers aiding in support. And then some scythed chariots. Those guys are going to be huge late game if you can get engaged units that can't return javelin volleys or not on shield wall. These guys can go big. So got to watch out for those as you advance. Then we got some Egyptian archers back there and Percoli spears. I see Egyptian pikemen and some thorax. Greek scorpion there as well. Two Galatian royal guard. Carian axeman, a Cretan archer in reserve. And then along this side, we've got the Cretan archers, two more of those, and then three thorax swords. So we'll see how that comes in. I don't see... Both sides are beginning to rout here, actually. Both sides are losing the melee due to the javelin fire. This unit's got to get out of here, though, because it's going to start to... It's taking fire from those archers, and it's going to go down pretty quickly if it does not get out of there. And it looks like it might start coming down now. Yeah, they're both coming down off the walls. They're like, you know what? We're done with this. Meanwhile, Rome is bleeding through and getting quite a bit of progress. They've already gotten quite the foothold. These archers, though, I mean, good use of archers by the defenders here. I really like this. Right here, perfect angle into, like, somewhat, it's the non-shield side of those Evocatis. Rome's kind of getting destroyed here. He needs to really shape up the game. But he's moving in, good move here, moving the Hastati around, and he could encircle these thorax if he gets them engaged, and then comes in and encircles them with those Hastati. He could do quite a bit of damage. Now he's charging with the Praetorian Guard, this Evocati cohort as well. This one went into a testudo for a brief moment, then broke ranks and went into a complete charge. Going to take quite a few losses, may even rout before it gets engaged. But yeah, that's no good. Then we got another thorax there coming around, but more Evocati cohort coming in to support as the archers go full fire here. These Cretans opening up as well. That's a second unit of Cretans opening up, and I believe this one could be in pretty quickly, actually. And I thought, yes, there's another unit of scythed chariots hiding back in the trees here. I like that. Good move here if you do a slight fallback defensive. Kind of engage around these buildings and then come around right behind them. Good move there by Egypt. Hopefully that trick works. But now we've got Royal Spartans, the elite of the Spartan army coming out. We got two of those. That's going to be a huge threat, but I want to see what Rome can do here because this guy, he's got the high ground. All he's got to do is unleash javelins because these Royal Spartans cannot return that fire. However, I think there's enough archer fire coming into these guys to make up for that. You will see some fire getting opened on those Royal Spartans, but I think, are these guys still taking fire? Yeah, they're... Oh, wait, the archers are pulling back. Okay, I think I'm seeing the first mistake by the defenders. You need to keep pummeling those Hastati. Those Hastati are lightly armored, so you could get them to waste their money on those Hastati if you could destroy these guys while they're on the wall. They also would be wasting extra because they did put that chevron on there. And you're losing Royal Spartans by not taking those guys out. So you need to get rid of them Yeah, that's a big mistake. But those Royal Spartans moving to cover. These guys have already lost 2 men, not counting the hit point damage that they've already suffered from those javelins. This Evocati cohort moving in, the Thorax having to cycle charge to stay alive against that overwhelming push. This Thorax doing the same, and this Thorax... well, this Thorax is losing. That Evocati cohort's pushing through there. This Praetorian Guard, I like to see the defenders working around this one. The Thorax engaging him, and the Thorax are actually going to take him out due to the overwhelming archer support. Oh, did I just see those archers fire on the move? That seriously looked like they fired while they were running. I might have to go back and watch that again. Okay, meanwhile, Seleucid has broken through and needs to get to these archers, actually. They've made a huge breakthrough here, and nobody's paying attention. Wow. And then we've got Seleucid breaking through on the wall defenses. Did Sparta just give up? No, they're still holding these docks. The Procoli hoplites holding against the Thorax. Those Thorax taking fire from a Rhodian slinger. And now a Roman ballista that I failed to mention earlier is opening fire on the Procoli hoplites in the street. That guy's racked up 5 kills on that one shot right there, straight through the Procolis. And that's going to climb pretty quick, I imagine, if you can get good targets. It's already went up to 9. Here comes another volley. Meanwhile, good job by Seleucid to start using those archers and destroy that wall defense. Nice job. Just overran that, and now the hitting power of the Roman army is inside and can start doing what they do best. That Praetorian Guard, I believe. Did I see the Praetorian? No, just Evocati cohort now. Thought I saw one. Oh, look at this. The Seleucidians got through, but they're getting chased by a Thorax. So a Thorax chasing Thorax again. And these Thorax are toast because they're about to get surrounded by some Procolis. They're taking fire in the back. I don't think those guys are going to last long. But you need to keep flooding this breach. Just keep coming in through this breach. You've got to make this count. Don't let them reposition and retake that. Also, why is not the Praetorian cavalry enter the city, come through, right through this breach, encircle the archers, encircle the Thorax, knock out this first layer of defense before this Thorax swords comes and plugs the gap? I mean, you gotta take advantage of this. And your archers are left unexposed. I mean, if you got some chariots, where are the chariots right now? Where did they go? Okay, this unit of chariots. There's another unit of chariots somewhere here around the VP, if I'm right. They could be hitting those archers right now and just destroy that, I think. Rack up 4 Roman archer units, just swift burst. Meanwhile, Sparta doesn't appear to be paying attention, and Seleucid needs to take advantage of this. Seleucid and Rome need to be pushing right here and just shove through this open area into the VP. This isn't the VP, it's just a capture point. But yeah, look at that, you can completely get around. There's still a gap. He has expanded his unit, but now he's bringing back reinforcements. That should have been taken advantage of a few seconds earlier. But it looks like Rome's going to push forward and try to take it. Meanwhile, Roman archers selecting their targets and doing a pretty good job here. They're racking up the kills, taking out that Thorax. This one's got 28. These guys got 61, 51. And 47. So these guys working fast, getting the early job done to get rid of this wall defense. But Rome suffered heavy casualties. I mean, this Evocati is almost depleted, or almost gone. This Praetorian Guard's 96 kills. It's winning, but a second round of Thorax is entering that fight. Meanwhile, the Hastati here, only 7 kills, and they've lost almost half their unit. So yeah, these guys also struggling to get the walls. This Hastati as well going down against that Royal Spartan. Only 3 kills, 4 kills on that unit there. And that, with the level 3 Chevron, that had to have been a pretty expensive unit. Now the cavalry is going to come in finally. And Egypt failing to plug this gap. This is a huge breach. This really needs plugged. I mean, this cavalry could come through, this Roman cavalry could come through and get to that Cretan archer, that Cretan archer. I mean, they could just decimate this defending line. They could get around, circle the Procolis. Yeah, that's no good. That breach needs to be plugged. Meanwhile, Seleucid and Rome continue to pushing in here against those Procolis. Down on the docks, nothing much is happening. The Procolis holding out. The Thorax not even trying to advance. They've moved out of range of those slingers, though. After that first unit, there was a unit there taking fire. Where it was further up, I think, though. I think it was like right around here. And those guys, where were they, actually? Oh, right here. Yeah. Oh, no, those are Spartans. Scrap that. I don't know where they were. There was somebody down here taking fire. Thought I could find them by the bodies, but clearly not. These Pacoli now holding strong. Need to get some reinforcements down here. Sparta needs to really get that in. Seleucid kind of being the main push here as they break in. The Royal Peltas, though, have entered the city. If I'm Seleucid, or if I'm Sparta or not Athens, Egypt, I'm a little worried right now. These guys pack a punch, and there's still some level of Roman reinforcement in the city to hold them while they discharge their javelins. Also, there's still quite a few thorax to hold them while they discharge their javelins. But would these Royal Peltas have been better used down here where they're actually making progress? I mean, Egypt's holding them pretty strong right here. We got this Praetorian cavalry hitting that charge against the heavy infantry. It looks like it's going to pull through, actually, and get into those archers. Good choice, but yeah, the archers still got ammunition. Look at the bodies here where Rome was given its first defense. It wasn't even at a choke point, really, so I'm really surprised at how effective that was because he just like spanned one of the widest areas in the entire city. Rather than holding back at the main choke points, the streets back here. Meanwhile, here come the scythed chariots and the cavalry here at 72 kills as it continues to advance and devastate that infantry, actually. Even the heavy infantry, just getting the charges in there. That guy's up to 84, going to rout one of those units, but he's going to be forced to pull out before he dies. Only 27 men left. He's going to try to hold on and rout that unit, it looks like. He does succeed, so he should probably pull out now as he's going to get charged by those Royal Spartans. Looks like he's just going to let that unit fall. I don't know what I would do there because you can't really get out of that situation. So maybe just, leaving it. I mean, it's probably going to rout when you pull it out. So leaving it and just letting it get as many kills as possible is probably the best stage there. Or probably the best idea. These guys are facing the wrong way. So if I'm Rome, these Balearic slingers are having a heyday right now. Open fire right on the back. And that's exactly what's about to happen. Oh, man. He saw that. He turned it. Oh, no, he didn't. Oh, man. This is going to be chaos. The Balearic slingers, point blank range. They have 104 kills right now. They're getting some aid from the Syrians. They're opening fire now. They keep reforming, but they won't turn around. They reform. And I keep thinking he's going to move them and turn around, but he doesn't. Ow. Oh, man. Oh, wow. These guys went from 108 to 140 kills. 144 kills just like that. I mean, just taking out that unit in like, what was it, 30 seconds? Oh, man, that unit's just decimated. Ow, huge mistake there by Egypt. Really should have turned that one around. Now, focus your fire down on these guys because these guys are in retreat. They got their backs to you. Knock them out. Keep doing exactly what you just did with the archers, and that is exactly what he's doing. You have a little bit more of a disadvantage this time because you get the trees, and I think, 50% missile block from trees or whatever? Or some sort of missile block from trees. So yeah, that's a prime target right there. Good job to start knocking those guys out with their backs. Shooting at their backs. But if they could have reached the Royal Spartans, that would have been a better target. But yeah, the thorax in range there, good. They might even rout this unit as it's reached red morale now. And I'm right in the tree, just like I always am. I need that, what's the setting, and you zoom in, all the trees disappear or something. Or the leaves disappear, I don't know what that is. The thorax, though, are going to regain morale. Looks like they're going to make it out. Now, we've got an Evocati going to probably go capture that gate, and a second Evocati going to go reinforce over there. Meanwhile, Seleucid with a breakthrough here. Rome also coming down from the port side with a huge breakthrough. These Percolis now taking fire. The Praetorian Guard also aiding in with some javelin fire. A lot of fire coming from those Syrian heavies from Seleucid. Those guys are going to get knocked out really fast, despite their heavy armor. And that's just yet another alleyway right into the back of this defense. We've got Sparta on the fringes here right now. Percoli is about to rout. Roman reinforcements on the inbound. We also have Egypt kind of retreating to defend the VP. Sparta is a little bit more stubborn. He's like, I don't want to give it up just yet. So he's going to try to defend the city streets, but it's a bad idea because he can't be encircled there. He's outnumbered 2-1, and even those Royal Spartans can't fight surrounded. He does have a second unit of Royal Spartans coming in, though, so he might defend that second street. Meanwhile, Seleucid, rather than pushing the gap, actually, wait a minute. Yeah, he did push the gap. He can come in through the trees. You can walk in the trees, right? You can walk in this little garden area or whatever it is. Because if that's right, then you can just come around and encircle these guys, which I think you can. So yeah, Rome's going to go do it right now and make sure they don't try to encircle that Seleucidian unit. Good job. The Spartan unit's getting beaten back there. That Rhodian slinger, only 2 kills before it gets knocked out. Fire's continuing to pour in from the Syrian heavies. I like the advanced tactics here of the attackers. I like how they're doing this. They stage their infantry, get a little bit of a fight, not a ton. They kind of stay back. They give a little bit of archer and javelin barrage. Then they charge into the melee, and then they open up with an even harder archer barrage. And they really have been devastating, especially Sparta here in the main defense. We have a Heroes of Sparta there, and I saw a second unit disappear into the trees right there, but I don't know what that was. The general is a Royal Spartan, so it could be another Hero of Sparta. Meanwhile, the Roman Praetorian Guard are going to be advancing through the dock area after they destroy those Procoli hoplites. Also, we'll have 2 thorax moving through there as well. Both of those have a level 1 chevron. So now all units inside the walls now. I didn't see the chariots. I didn't watch the chariot charge. I kind of sad I missed that. Are the chariots out here? Did they get destroyed, or did they chicken out and turn around? I don't see any chariots, so I'm assuming they turned around. That Evocati cohort there going straight on against the Royal Spartans, they're probably going to lose that pretty fast unless the Roman and Seleucidian attackers here break through and encircle those Royal Spartans. Meanwhile, the other Evocati cohort is going to encircle, or going to take that tower and then probably go around to the second Royal Spartan. Surprisingly, actually, that Royal Spartan is losing to a head-on attack by the Evocati cohort. I did not see that coming. The numbers-wise, the Evocati's got that one, numbers-wise, but the Royal Spartans are just far more elite unit. I would have thought they made more out of that, or more of a fight than they did, as they're continuing to lose, and quite rapidly, actually. I mean, it's not majorly rapidly, but they're losing at speed. They just lost another guy. Meanwhile, the Thorax Seleucid doing what he's been doing all day. He's broke through once again. Rome again trying to break through there. I think he did break through. Didn't he have 2 units here, or did Seleucid have 2 units? I don't know. I think Rome was the one that had no. Yeah, maybe he did because he meant it. No, I think Seleucid had the second unit. It must have been destroyed. Rome needs to be pushing here and encircling the Royal Spartans. He needs to hold this one here in place, and with this Evocati cohort that's capturing, or is finished capturing the tower, needs to hold this Royal Spartan in place. Then he needs to encircle it with this Evocati cohort. But it looks like currently he's aiding in javelin fire against those thorax. We have an advancing Egyptian pikeman here going up against these thorax. The thorax getting cut down on that head-on advance. Also, we have a Rhodian slinger that the thorax could turn around and hit, which they kind of need to do, I think. I think that would be the best option. Turn around, hit those guys, or chase them away so they're not offering fire for those thorax. Are these Syrian heavies out of ammunition? Yes. They went out with 119. This one's at 50, and the other one's at 32 as they continue to fire. The Roman Praetorian Guard here continuing to continuing to make an advance here. 82 as they try to climb the steps against those heroes. Those heroes are taking fire in the back from those Seleucidian archers, so I can't imagine they'll hold long. They're also taking fire from that thorax. This is kind of a do or die for Sparta, though. They've got to hold this area, really. They have no real other options at this point. That's kind of it for choke points. And this choke point is pretty much broken here. Those the Egyptian pikemen are falling back to the protection of the Galatian Royal Guard there. Also, they're getting some cover fire from the Egyptian archers, and Seleucidian units being forced to pull back. Rome making a smart move here, going to engage these Royal Spartans and keep them from retreating back to the main force. Keep them tied down so they don't regroup with their main force and just become more deadly. So good job by Rome. Roman unit here got mowed down, though. I think that Galatian Royal Guard was too much of a match. I think he was trying to cut down the Egyptian pikemen, and he just didn't make it. That Galatian intercepted him. And there's no pulling out from that. So poor Evocatis. Is that right? Poor Evocati? I don't know. Sure. Guess it works. Okay, the thorax are advancing now. probably going to surround those heroes of Sparta and hopefully send another unit to surround those Royal Spartans, as the Praetorian Guard have taken a beating trying to get through these elite Spartan units. 124 on that unit, though, as they have done a great job of busting through the defenses. Sparta, though, going to see that he's being threatened, and he's going to retreat back to the next choke point rather than continue the engagement. Good job by Sparta to be aware of that one. Meanwhile, the Royal Spartans disengaging as they are losing to that Evocati cohort, also taking fire from those auxiliary Syrians, 85 kills as they fire into the backs of those retreating Royal Spartans. Good job by Rome to select a high priority target. These Evocati cohort have just cut down the other Royal Spartan, and I actually think it just got cut down retreating by this Evocati cohort. So these Evocatis have been faced with a tall task getting rid of the elite Spartans, but they have stood up and they've really gotten that done. Here, the Royal Spartans, or heroes of Sparta, are surrounded and winning at 285 kills. Congratulations, Sparta. But you're taking out archers, so Tall Midget Award or something like that. But you do have a thorax, and that's something. This thorax got a level 1 chevron, so you're doing a good job. Keep it up. Praetorian Guard now coming in, probably going to finish that unit off. It has 73 men left to 69 Royal Spartans, and probably still some more archer support coming in here because these guys still got ammunition. Meanwhile, we still have 2 thorax pikemen. Like I said earlier, they're good at defending flanking routes, but there was no real flanking routes that the attackers left unopened, and they didn't really use those guys. Actually, they haven't used them at all. So they've been kind of useless. Maybe they'll show their priority or their worth in this final area and when they start the final push. Meanwhile, these Royal Peltas, untouched by the fight, they are fresh units. 46 kills and 26, so they've clearly discharged their javelins. This one here's got 0. That's a shield bearer, though. This unit here is untouched as well and is fresh with 34 kills. So these guys have discharged their javelins, but still in melee, they are quite the unit to be reckoned with. A Royal Spartan or some unit I just saw disappear into the trees here, potentially coming in on a flanking route there, so something to watch out for. But those Royal Peltas are right there, and I cannot see anything getting past those guys defending that flanking route. Oh, wait, here they come. It was just an archer unit. It was nothing special, it looks like. It was a Rhodian slinger that is out of ammunition. Oh, wait, no, they do have ammunition. Wow. Okay, they had swords drawn, and now they've undrawn swords? They've drawn swords. And they've sheathed their swords, sorry. And they're beginning to fire on those Balearic slingers. Meanwhile, that Royal Peltas now moving up, as well as an Evocati cohort moving to ward those guys off. And these auxiliary Syrians, are they trying to fire over this building? No. They might be firing into these Galatian Royals or the pikemen or something. I don't know what they're firing at. They might be firing at all 4. You never know. So now the infantry stalemate. Or actually, hold on. They do have a fight. I thought they didn't. I thought they were out of infantry fights right now. It was just archer engagements. But they do have some infantry trying to push here. Those Royal Spartans losing to the thorax due to the supporting archer fire. I think they might be losing a little bit of archer fire on that tower there. It looks like a little bit of it might be. Is there any arrows stuck in the building? I don't see any arrows, so maybe they're not. But now the pikemen going to come cover that route. Good move by Egypt. That's a very tight spot and very good for a pikeman engagement. But I wouldn't have done that while they still have archer ammunition, because they're just going to shred that light Egyptian pikeman. Actually, the pikemen might have been ordered to attack. They're going to make their own doom. If they keep following... Nope, they got the orders to stop. Okay, good job. But if they would have followed, they could have gotten flanked in that open round. That would not have been good. Would not have been good. Meanwhile, the Evocati cohort here realized their plight last minute and began their retreat. They're going to take a little bit of archer fire or slinger fire there from the mercenary Rhodians, but they will retreat back to safety. And if I'm right, there should still be 2 chariot units, 1 or 2 chariot units somewhere here for the defenders. So keep an eye out for those, because those are going to be a game changer if all of a sudden they come around to flank, because those guys can get 500 kills, 300, 400, 500 kills by a skilled user. So you don't want to underestimate those just yet, or count the defenders out just yet. The balance of power bar is still surprisingly pretty even. I mean, these guys have done good all day, or the whole fight, all day. It's been like 30 minutes. And the fire pouring into those pikes, they are a problem. They do need to get rid of these guys. But do you want to waste your archer fire on those low priority targets? I guess it's not a low priority target if it's deadly. So I guess even the lighter pikemen are a problem. So they need to get rid of those. These guys are going to go into pike formation. They were going to charge melee though, and thorax were going to take that. But when they go into pike formation, it's a full retreat. Now, as the Egyptian pikemen retreat though, they're going to take fire to the back. So Egypt needs to decide what they're doing, whether they're plugging the hole with pikemen or not, and they need to just keep them in the alley. I guess retreating them behind the building is not a bad idea, but if you're going to run them forward every time he pushes with a thorax, you're going to be there quite a while. Or you're not only going to be there quite a while, you're also going to tire your units out, and you're going to tire your units out pretty quickly. And I don't see the point in it. You're exposing your back as you retreat. It's just like not a good idea. We'll leave it with that. Okay, so these archers are going to advance to try to get a better angle. This could be a bad idea. These guys have swords drawn. These archers here, the Egyptian archers have swords drawn, so they are light enough. They could run down those Syrians, and they wouldn't win the melee engagement, but it would slow the Syrians down enough that the defenders could pour in some infantry support. Meanwhile, Rome's breaking through here. The Evocati cohort moving in. Those Syrians got destroyed, or getting destroyed. They've only got 85 kills there. Those Evocati cohort also turning to defend. Those Royal Spartans, they're winning the engagement, but the Evocati fighting to the last and giving the time for the Romans to get around and behind, going for the VP, or more likely probably going for the Egyptian general, just to get him out of the fight, because that would be a huge morale disadvantage if that unit was destroyed. But a lot of fire coming in from those Cretans at 115 on their kill count. These guys at 44, but the Roman army suffered dearly, and I think they're out of infantry unit. Oh, wait, nope. I spoke too soon. They got that Praetorian Guard at 161. I'm going to try to advance up the alley, and the pikes, surprisingly, are not going to contest him. But it looks like that Royal Spartan might come up and try to challenge him. He will be a match for that unit, and that unit's going to get destroyed quickly now, as the Egyptian archers are going to engage that, and then they're going to get charged by those Royal Spartans. However, it worked out quite nicely now, as the thorax are going to come in, and that's going to be a rear target. Oh, wait, nope. The Royal Spartans pulled back as to avoid getting surrounded by the thorax. Good move there. And this alley, surprisingly, probably the tightest choke point in this whole area, and it's going to be the one spot that they push heavily. But it's not the only spot that they're pushing. Here we've got the Royal Thorax, or not the Royal Thorax, the Royal Peltasts engaging. This pike unit's getting a little bit of pike stack. I don't know if that was against the rules in this game or not. But the Royal Peltasts should probably be pulled out if it was. The thorax there are gonna mutilate. That thorax pike is gonna mutilate those Egyptian pikemen. That is not even gonna be a contest. And there is Royal Peltas in there as well. That even with the is there Galatian Royal Guard? No, there's not Galatian Royal Guard support in there. That Egyptian pikeman's going to get routed really quickly. Those Galatian Royal Guard, though, are going to hold a little bit longer against these incoming Royal Peltasts. The Royal Peltasts found a gap, tried to break through, got engaged by some Egyptian pikemen, but the pikemen are out of formation. They're going to get smashed and do no good, really, because they're no good in melee. And somehow he maneuvered his unit, so it's still kind of flanking the Galatian Royal Guard. So the back's fighting the Galatians, the front's fighting the Egyptian pikemen. It's actually a really good idea. In some odd way, that was a really good idea. Here we go. We've got the Thorax pikemen pushing in. The Thorax swordsmen also trying to squeeze through the gap here, potentially get to those Royal Spartans, which it looks like they will do. This Praetorian Guard is going to use the whip, it looks like. Yeah. And he's got 260 kills. He racked those up fast because he was at like 160 last I checked. But the defender's line's falling apart pretty quickly here. now as Seleucid and Roman push is combining to make a breakthrough here. The Galatian Royal Guard pushing in against those Royal Peltasts. Those Royal Peltasts probably won't win if it stayed a one-on-one, but the breakthrough has already occurred. These guys are going to get surrounded really quickly unless some support comes up and covers the gap. Then these Royal Peltasts going to move to surround the remaining Royal Spartans. So those Royal Spartans going to go down pretty quickly. But quick thinking by the defender, pulled his archers to stall those, and then pulled one of his 2 Royal Spartans to stop that. But it's just a small band-aid on a big wound. It's going to come down pretty quickly. Overwhelming numbers for the attackers are going to push through against these Royal Spartans. They're not going to be able to hold much longer. Meanwhile, over here, the Royal Peltasts are losing, but they are going to get some support here. We've got Royal Thorax pikemen with their backs to the archer fire. That's the second time units have had their backs to the archer fire. That needs turned around, but I think this one actually has a reason for having his back to it. He's fighting the Galatian Royal Guard, so he has a reason for turning his back to that archer fire there. Intentional or unintentional that he did that. The Royal Peltasts trying to run down some retreating Royal Spartans who are going to try to retreat to the main force and cover this small rout. They're going to be forced to turn around and fight, though, as the other Royal Spartan has officially been routed. Oh, wait, no, that was the Praetorian Guard that routed. Sorry. The Praetorian Guard went out with 267 kills. This Royal Spartan then has lost its best enemy, which is good. You always want to lose your best enemy, or beat your best enemy. The Royal Spartans then are going to try to pull back as well as they see the overwhelming numbers of Seleucid getting through there. Meanwhile, here, this is going to come down to the wire. I mean, honestly, these Galatian Royal Guard got through to the legatus of Rome, and he needs to get out of there. I mean, not that there's many Roman units left, but you never know what can happen there. And, wow, this is tight. Okay, here comes the Shield Bearers in on the flank. 15 kills, a fresh unit. This is what they need. Actually, that's an active unit, not fresh. Close enough. They're going to come in on the flank of the Carian Axemen, the Galatian Royal Guard, and the Royal Spartan, but they're going to get flanked by our Royal Spartan here. Quite a few Seleucidian units beginning to lose morale. This one here at yellow. I thought this Thorax was at yellow as well, but he must have stabilized now. A Royal Peltas going to go in there for the Shield Bearer. These Thorax pikes are going to substitute against those Royal Spartans. The archers just not enough to fight that Galatian Royal Guard, who is at 329 kills. This guy is on a rampage. 43 men left as it's taking out the Legatus and also those archers. The Legatus, whatever. It doesn't matter. These Syrian archers are out of ammunition, so they'll probably engage that Galatian. No, that Galatian's going to turn around. He's going to rear charge the advancing Seleucidian units. Could move there by Egypt. You could route that. This first unit's going down. The Royal Peltas, 205, going to come down. The Galatian Royal Guard losing it, 247 kills, 50 men left. This Royal Spartan has broke. A push by the Thorax could change this all. Take out this Carian Axeman. That's what he's going for. Slow, another Thorax going down to yellow morale. Rome is pretty much out of this one. This is all on Seleucid. Oh, Sparta's falling there as a charge from the Legatus combined with the Thorax is going to rout that unit potentially. It did. That Royal Spartan is 66 going up against a 117 Thorax. That unit's going to fall. The Thorax will win that fight if no other support comes in. Some Cretan archers have lost their ammo at 145. Going to charge into the melee. Try to stem the tide. Turn the tide. Meanwhile, it's coming down really to Royal Spartans here. They are going to cut off this Thorax pike that was getting into the gap. The Legatus is going to pull out with 20 kills. The Carian Axeman is going to try to push here. Apparently the chariots are gone because the chariots would be the first thing I'm using at this moment right now if they were still in this fight. We do have a rallied Egyptian archer at 114 back there. Only 33 men though, so not a big game changer. But could be brought in. I don't know what it would do, really. Then we've got a Galatian Royal Guard going down at 273 kills. The Shield Bearers breaking through, 47 kills as they get to those Cretan archers. The Royal Spartans trying to reform. Carian Axemen coming around on the flank. Those thorax, only 22 men left and losing morale down to yellow. 278 kills though. This unit is at yellow morale, 28 men left. It's charging in against these mercenary Rhodian slingers, 116 on that unit. That unit has 273 kills, a level 2 chevron. A charge in melee could possibly win that one. This thorax is going to get surrounded as it goes for the as it continues to fight those Royal Spartans. It's getting surrounded by a carrying axeman, but a bulk charge is going to cut off that carrying axeman from any reinforcement, and the Egyptian general is going to fall there. This thorax pike at 173, trying to engage those. Well, it's not trying to engage the Royal Spartans. It's not even facing the Royal Spartans, but the Royal Spartans are trying to engage the thorax. These Royal Spartans are winning that fight. This is coming close. The thorax trying to reform there. They will reform, and that, oh man, that's not what you want from your Royal Spartans. Yeah, pull those guys back. Army loss is going to kick in pretty quick for Sparta, though. This unit of thorax, 119, losing to an archer unit. Or sorry, just 16 men left. 139 kills. They're losing to that archer unit. The Royal Spartan's going to pull and try to fight them. Incoming Legatus at 26 kills. The Shield Bearer at 81. There looks like the VP has been neutralized. This Royal Spartan refusing to go down, fighting 2 thorax. This one here at 294 with level 3 chevron is yellow morale. This one here at 149 with a level 2 chevron and using battle rhythm. Meanwhile, the Royal Spartans at 120 kills, 17 men left losing, but they could take down at least one more thorax with them. Here these pikemen trying to reform, but they did get charged by those Royal Spartans before they were able to let the pikes down. Also, they're kind of getting flanked there, so these guys are losing that fight. The shield bearers coming in as well. Right now, the Royal Spartans have more men than the shield bearers, but bulk numbers for the attackers are probably going to win this one. 1 thorax left. If only like this ballista still had ammunition or something and they could just turn and fire, that would be awesome, like a complete game changer. But I don't think it's going to be enough. The reformed pikes are going to shut out those Royal Spartans. Those Royal Spartans at 99 trying to salvage their unit of Rhodian slingers who are at 299 as the Legatus continues to charge in and out. 8 men left. It's going to re-attack on the flank of those thorax. Good job there to keep shifting your unit to keep getting around on the flank of the pikemen. But the pikemen are also going to reform there, trying to turn. Also, we've got some shield bearers in there with the pikes as well. This one looks like it's just going to turn against the defenders. The balance of power bar is slipped from the defenders' grasp. Those shield bearers at 102 and are going to quickly begin winning that fight. The thorax and some other archer units also going to come around and encircle the remaining Spartan defenders. This was a really close victory, it looks like, as the Spartans begin to lose morale and are going to rout on account of army losses, it looks like. But wow, congratulations, Seleucid and Rome. You both did a great job, pulled this one through. So thanks for Kev for sending this one in. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you want to see more of his videos, of his replays. And Tartaloris, 2,078 kills. He's playing as Rome. 53, 95 on those cavalry units. 47. Good job by his archers to rack up and slingers to rack up 230, 137, 91, and 118. The Evocati cohort also did well. 162 looks like, or 163. Sorry, was the best of that. But the Praetorian Guard capping that off with a 267 to be the most elite in the Roman army there. 33 on those Hastati. Those were a little bit disappointing, but they did get engaged by Royal Spartans, so you have to kind of average that out a little bit, I guess. Then Kev, Hawk Kev Rock, 2,783 kills, 119 on his general. Good job by most of his archers. That 82, a little disappointing. 174, 143, 124. 205 being the best of his Royal Peltas, though. 260 on those pikemen. Good job there. 294 being the best of his thorax then, but there was also some highlights in there with 135, 185, 144, 155. Then the defenders, Nathan J. Yep, 2006 kills playing as Sparta, 1,011 kills, 111 kills, 148, 149, 182, 302 though on that Rhodian slinger. Good job there. They did great. 338 on that Heroes of Sparta. Congratulations, Sparta. You died with honor. 26 on those Procoli. The Procoli were a little disappointing then. 34 on the Procoli spears. And then 123, 186 being the best of his Royal Spartans there. And then we have Kobutoi. This guy's playing as Egypt, and he's going to have 131 on his general, which is a Carian Axeman. Congratulations, Egypt. Good job there. You don't see that low-tier unit get that high of a kill count very often. So good job there. 7 on your Scorpion. A little bit disappointing. I think I forgot to mention you got 2,170 kills. You're also the top killer on your team. Congratulations on that one, too. Only 44 on that unit of Chariots, and there was only 1 unit of Chariots. They must have moved that between me introducing it and then introducing the second one in the trees. They were the same unit, and that one that charged forward apparently got destroyed, and we just didn't see it. So 185, 144, 185 being the best of his archers there. Then 48, the best on your pikes. It was a cheap pike unit. Nobody really expected great. But 365 kills from your Galatian Royal Guard. That is an elite number. Not a lot of people can get that one out of that. And you got him 274 out of the other one. Both of those units made this the close game that it was. And then unfortunately, only 103 is the tops on his other thorax. But thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Catch you in the next one.